This is Eric Campbell. You can find me at ericcampbell.com.
This is Brian Walker with Image Armor Pretreatment and Inks.
Johnny Shell with SGIA.
Scott Fresner with T-Biz and Network International.
And you're listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast
Hosted by Terry Combs
and Aaron Montgomery. Anything but regular, nothing but extraordinary.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It's Friday, July 13th, Friday the 13th, 2018. I'm Terry Combs with Equipment Zone. You can also find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, we are, fingers crossed, hopefully going to be talking to Christine Shreve on social media and how it's not non-profit. So, but it is Friday the 13th, so the gremlins are out, and they're getting her. So she's rebooting her computer right now.
This is going to be a great show. Unfortunately, the one person with all the information is not on the air.
Yes, it is going to be fun, but we'll get it figured out. She's, like I said, she's rebooting right now. Our esteemed producer Eric Campbell is also working on it, and I may be looking over typing some chats to get this going as we dive in. But anyways, just wanted to get that going. Hello from Chuck Peterson. Welcome in. And again, I get to butcher all these names all the time, so this is fun. And then I got this one, E. Rich Campbell. he hates me, and maybe he's not going to help us get this going. But this is greetings, everyone.
You know, I was going to ask Eric today if he's going to be going to the NBM show in Long Beach, because, you know, they have a rap competition there during the show, and
Oh
he could
God.
go as E. Rich, you know, his rapper name. That's what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to have to now. So, no, good stuff. But yeah, Friday the 13th, Terry, I think we've talked about it on this show quite a bit, but I was actually born on a Friday the 13th. So I got my obligatory email/text. I think even put a Facebook post up today from my dad saying happy non-Triskaideka phobia day. And that is, Triskaideka phobia is the fear of 13. And it's a lucky day for me. So we're going to get lucky and get Christine on here is what's going to happen.
I think it was only unlucky for the for those Knights Templar. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was the day they were rounded up and executed.
Nice. All right. Well, a couple of quick news items, Terry, and I guess the big news item for us is Inksoft's The Big Idea podcast featuring Marshall Atkinson. His interview with us, I think we alluded to it a while back. It's something that we did before, is out in live to the public. So come hear us on the other side of the interview, and we'll have a link to that in our show notes. So definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And my news item, Aaron, is Gildan has announced that they're closing their facility in Hildebrand, North Carolina. Never good news. According to the news outlet, the News Herald, they notified their 100 employees on Tuesday that they were all being laid off. They're trying to find positions for them at their other North Carolina locations. They've got yarn manufacturing and dyeing facility in Mocksville and Salisbury, and this is something that's been going on over with Gildan. A lot of consolidation has been going on. Earlier this year, they closed a distribution center in Anaheim, California, and a dyeing facility in Massachusetts. So hopefully all those folks who are losing their jobs down there in North Carolina will be able to be repositioned. So
yeah, that's it's interesting. You know, you kind of got the ebbs and flows, and hopefully everything works out for them. Hello, Vic Hawtrey. Vic, we had on the show not too terribly long ago when you wouldn't remember, Terry. This was in the middle of your massive road trip. Thanks for checking in, Vic. And Eric actually also posted a link to that podcast, the Big Idea podcast, inksoft.com/2-regular-guys-big. Okay, you can read it there.
On and on.
Yeah. We'll have a link to it. Just come check out our social media feeds or otherwise. One other quick thing I wanted to ask, we've, I don't know, teased you, brought up your Twitter followers and whatnot over the years here. And what number are you at, Terry?
I'm at about 15,000 followers.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how much of a hit you took, but I heard a news report that Twitter has deleted thousands, if not millions, of fake accounts and just kind of random accounts. Some of the big Twitter folks like Justin Bieber and some of those folks lost over 1.5 million followers basically overnight. So
bots.
Yeah, bots and just kind of all the quote unquote fake news, right? So so I'm checking in here, Terry, to see if you took a massive hit here, and I'm on your Twitter feed, 14,763.
So I lost a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Because I was just over 15,000. So
all right. Yeah. So little bit of change there. I think it's probably all for the better, quality over quantity, and I'm sure Christine will echo that once we get her on here. But just thought that was interesting. Some of the big names. The president lost 300,000 followers overnight. I think Barack Obama lost close to 1 million, some other things like that. So I guess we'll see how that plays out.
Well, I guess if they were fake accounts, that doesn't bother me too much if they're gone. But other than, the whole ego thing, when somebody loses 300,000 or 1 million followers, it's it's just kind of a hit to your ego that, oh gosh, those weren't real people after all.
Darn it. All right. Well, Sandy says good morning. Good morning, Sandy. Good to see you. And Janine says hello again. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback as we get through this here. But I think that's about it so far here, Terry. I totally forgot. Like I said, I got about 100 things going on here trying to get Christine on, so I apologize.
To highlight it for you on the outline here.
I should actually look at that, but so a little disjointed here this morning, and we'll get it though. But end of the show, Terry is going to bring us 5 things, and this is one of our favorite segments that we do each year or each show, and 5 things to produce and sell successfully in the DTG arena. So if you're a DTG decorator or looking to become a DTG decorator, Terry's going to give you some great, I'm guessing, markets. I haven't read ahead yet. So yeah, actually just things that you need to think about and know to be successful. But at the Long Beach, I mentioned the Long Beach show that's upcoming, and Jay Bassell and myself are going to be doing the top 10 niche markets for an in-booth seminar. We'll be doing that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during the show, and it's kind of a fun subject. He and I did it together at Equipment Zone's DTG Academy, and a lot of fun, because Aaron, as you well know, niche markets, that's what, whenever we announce a show on niche markets, our listeners and viewers jump up because everybody wants to talk about and learn about those niche markets. But in the meantime, we want to thank everybody for listening to the show. We are pleased to have brought you this show since February 2013. So we are deep into our 6th season. We always try to avoid those rants and lectures and any selling. And we would love for you to visit our webpage. It is 2 regularguys.com. If you have ideas for shows, a lot of the shows that we do are based on our listeners reaching out to us. You can do that on our Contact Us page at 2 regularguys.com. Also, we are all over social media, which kind of rolls into our show today. But we get a lot of suggestions for shows through Twitter or all the other platforms. And if you are watching us live today on Facebook Live, we would love to have your comments and your questions and your suggestions. And so feel free to jump in and add to the content of the show.
And Aaron, right now, let's hear a word from our sponsor, SGIA, the Specialty Graphic Imaging Association.
Hi, this is SGI's Dan Marks, inviting you to attend the SGI Expo in Las Vegas this October. We're going to show you what's on the horizon, with more than 500 exhibitors showing the latest in dye sub, screen, embroidery, DTG, and more. We have 72 educational sessions, including a garment decoration track, and a special luncheon just for garment decorators. Registration is free through September 19th. Learn more at sgia.org/expo2rg.
That's 2RG for the two regular guys. So make sure that when you log into the show, make sure you log in using our address, sgia.org/expo2rg. You know, Aaron, speaking of SGIA, they do a lot of training events, that sort of thing. And actually in August, they're going to be at Workhorse Products here in Phoenix doing an advanced screen printing class with Charlie Tobleib and some other folks. So, you know, SGIA does a lot more than I think a lot of people realize, and one of those things is going around the country offering training events and a lot of advanced training events as well. So, you know, you can find out about that at their website, sgia.org. So how are we doing there, Aaron?
We are still efforting, we'll say. And Eric is working hard in the background as well. And poor Christine has tried everything. I've got a chat open with the good folks at Be Live TV as well. So lots of fun stuff going on here, and we'll get it
here on
sorted.
Friday the 13th. You know, Aaron, I was telling you before we came on the air that and it just odd questions from customers and weird things going on this week. So maybe, I don't know, is it a full moon also and Friday the 13th?
Yeah, could be. Yeah. So sorry, just got something popped up there. Hey, Terry. Let's see what we can do here. One thing I did want to mention, sorry, I'm again jumping all over the place, a little disjointed here, but going back to SGIA real quick, Terry, I am super excited about some of the stuff that's going on, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you before or not, but I'm going to repeat it. The day before the show opens on that Wednesday, they're doing a kind of a small business symposium thing where they've got several different speakers, quick 40-minute overview kind of things, and to just kind of really help small businesses achieve and grow. And you know that's something I'm very passionate about, and I've been fortunate enough to be asked to kind of conclude the day with a bit of a digital marketing talk for the small businesses. So it's only $40 to sign up.
Aaron, you realize that in Vegas the last act is the headliner, so
that's what I'm going to tell everybody. So, I feel pretty good about that. And it's going to be a great show there. So, all right. Well, let's see here, Terry. How do we want to dive into this? We can pull Eric in. We can just talk amongst ourselves here. I know Christine's definitely got some expertise here, but we can maybe fill a little bit while we continue working on this, if you'd like.
Sure. Well, we were going to start out by having the discussion about social media and not being nonprofit. I know that's a double negative to all of you, all of you English majors out there, or journalism majors like myself. But I don't know, Aaron, if you had a conversation with Christine about what she was planning to talk about on that subject about not being nonprofit. Obviously, doing social media is for us to do it. We certainly want it to, at some point in time, generate income for, depending on what it is that we sell, whether it's a product or it's a service or like you and me promoting too regularly. I guess that is a nonprofit.
Okay. So apparently Christine is now trying to install the app on her phone, and poor Christine, she is going above and beyond to come through for us here. So,
well, Aaron, now that I think about it, I had to do the same thing about a month ago.
There you go.
When I was broadcasting from a hotel. It worked great, by the way. So
good. Well, a couple quick comments here. I think this is interesting comment, and this is somebody that we got to talk to last time when Christine was on. So really good, interesting. So I think that's something to ponder. The comment is: pay for social media is funny. You spend $13 to get around 4,000 reach people, or spend 2 hours to create a freebie and get around 5,000 reach people. I think that's an interesting comment. I think that's continuing to change. The reach is less and less. So, and then our friend Andrea Bomarito is joining us here, and she says, "Unfortunately, I'm no expert on social media."
oh, so she logged in to learn something, and all she got was you and me.
Yeah, poor thing. She's like, "I'm out of here."
Hi, Andrea.
Nice. All right. Sorry, I've got more stuff going on. All right, Terry. Well, why don't you start us off by just kind of diving in? All right. So I think you may have already said this, but we start discussion topic about how social media is not non-profit. What do you mean when you say that? I'm going to give my take here real quick, Terry, and then allow you to kind of jump on that. So I think this is I don't know, one of the things that I always do in the social media seminars, webinars, and things that I do is talk about the fact that where social media needs to fit into your overall marketing plan. And I think a lot of people, to me, get this wrong. And where they get it wrong is they are trying to get everybody to go, they've got stuff plastered everywhere, like my Facebook page. They've got their Facebook information right at the top of their webpage, and they're always trying to get people to go to Facebook. Well, my problem with that is I really don't think Mark Zuckerberg is going to have any difficulty getting people on his website. 2 billion monthly active users. You know what? I just saw Christine. So let's pause, because I don't want to get there. There she is. She is a rock star, and I'm going to let her get settled in. I know she's been frantic. Nice job, Eric and Christine. So everybody hang tight for 1 second. I think she's ready. I'm going to grab her. Terry, are you ready?
Ready.
And there she is.
Yeah,
Chris.
am I like sitting anywhere where people can see?
Oh, you're perfect in every way. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. It was a nightmare.
It was actually, I think, my camera.
Well, all right.
Setting got changed and I wasn't aware of it, and I went back to the control panel and it's like, oh, that's not supposed to be that way. So there you go. So I apologize to you, because it was apparently me.
Hey, well, we're glad you're here, and
well, I'm sorry for all the Friday the 13th, guys. It got
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, Terry, let's get back to square one here. We're going to talk today with Christine about social media being not nonprofit, and we're going to leave the bio. Everybody knows who you are, and if not, we'll talk about it later. But we want to start this discussion with the topic of how social media is not nonprofit. So what do you mean by that? Talk with us about the idea of social media being for-profit business activity.
Well, there's this idea that social media sites were started as something other than a business. Like, they were designed for people to be able to use. Which is true. They were designed for people to be able to use, but they were designed for people to use them in a way that allows the company that made them to make money. So people I think people have started to think of social media as a right. Like, you have the right to be on Facebook, you have the right to be on Twitter, you have the right to be on, Pinterest or wherever you want to be. And they don't think about the fact that somebody has to host it, and somebody has to create all the pages, and somebody has to do all that sort of thing. So that's really what I mean, is there's this kind of idea floating out there that social media sites shouldn't make any money. And my response to that is, why not? Because they're businesses, and if they aren't making money, they're not going to stay around. And we're not going to have Facebook, and we're not going to have Pinterest, and we're not going to have all those things. Yeah. So that's really that's kind of where I'm going with that is, and this idea is fed by a lot of people that, social media, a lot of the social media guru people, which, you know, I'm not going to go into how I feel about those people.
Terry, stop calling yourself a social media guru, please.
How about industry expert? Is it no?
Yes, you can say I say expert sometimes, but you know, Terry and his Twitter followers, he definitely qualifies as an industry expert. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that one. But the whole thing is just basically there's this idea out there that's kind of pervasive that social media is supposed to be just available and nobody's supposed to be making money off it, even though most of the people who are using it for a business purpose are trying to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is just kind of this idea that's floating out there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's really an interesting point, and you know, I've seen that. I was involved in the conversation on Facebook last week where there was some discussions about the group administrators of some of these private groups or groups in general, where Facebook's going to allow them to possibly charge a monthly fee.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I saw that too.
The vitriol that came from people on that. First off, they thought that Facebook was going to be the one charging, but if you read the article, they were allowing the admins to make some money off of what they do. And then there was comments like, you know, Facebook owes us for selling our information. It's like, ooh, did you not read what you signed up for when you signed up for Facebook? You got to read all that stuff. You're the product.
Well, and that's the whole thing is everybody got so outraged about that whole Facebook groups thing. And it was like, that totally makes sense. If it's like the next logical evolution of what groups were doing anyway. So it completely makes sense. And how is it different if you're charging an admission fee to a private group than it is if you buy somebody's exercise videos and you pay a monthly fee, or you know, there's a site I use that has yoga videos and you pay a monthly fee and you can do as many yoga videos as you want to do. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think you could stretch that even further to, like, you know, you pay admission to get into a sporting event.
Exactly. Same thing.
You're going to get the content. Is it worth you opening your wallet for is the question.
Exactly. I mean, if you're paying for a seminar, what's the difference if the seminar is on Facebook?
Yeah. Exactly.
Or if you're actually going to actually physically sit in a room, you know? So it's that kind of thing that just kind of really annoys me because, I mean, number one, the social media companies are providing a service, really. They're providing us a platform we didn't have before. So why the heck shouldn't they make money off of it? And then if you're going to use social media for business, you're trying to make money off it. That's what you're doing. So the different ways you can monetize it can actually benefit you if you actually stop and think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and let me add to that you know, if a lot of these, like a Facebook group on direct-to-garment printers, you know, if there was a small fee for that, it would probably eliminate the haters, you know, the people that just go on there to complain about things. And or the people that aren't really committed to what they're doing. They're just kind of dabbling, or also the people that come in and all they want to do is sell their own stuff. Right.
You know, because so there's a lot of benefit to that I think people aren't thinking about.
Yeah. I think, that's that whole idea. Plus, for the administrators, the people that are potentially making money or the people that are putting that content out there to make the money, they've got to provide value now. You know, if I'm giving you free stuff and you don't like it, too bad, it's free. But if I'm charging you money for something you don't like it, well, crap, I need to fix it and make it so it's worth something to you. So good stuff there.
I was thinking about our show when you said, hey, if I'm offering it for free, take it or leave it.
Terry.
You weren't supposed to point that out, Terry.
Hey, that's my job. That's my part of the interchange here.
Okay.
Well, Christine, you know, you're always seeing those posts where somebody will say like or share my page, so to make sure that you see my posts. Does that kind of thing work to keep in front of people?
No, Not really. I mean, that's the basic simple answer. And here's why it doesn't work. A lot of the people who are pushing that idea are the people who are selling the quick fix stuff. The same people who will tell you that you should try to get likes by telling people that if you get likes, your office gets a pizza party or something, which is like, first of all, who cares? But second of all, that's such the wrong way to go about it. The only way to build a solid social media account with interested, engaged followers is to provide good content. That's it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if people like your content. Let me rephrase that. It does matter if people like your content. It does matter if people share your content. But it matters more because then Facebook shows it to more people. So that does matter, but you have to have the content first. If you're just liking random stuff, there's no engagement there. And the people that are liking things randomly are probably not going to be interested in what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I don't really want to say it's a pet peeve of mine, but that whole concept of trying to get likes by, or you put up a picture of a sad puppy and you say, I bet I won't even get one share or something. And every time I see one of those, I just, because it's such a bad use of what social media is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Yeah.
And you're not accomplishing the goal. If you want to make sure that people see and are interested in what you're offering, make it something interesting. Make it something valuable and keep doing that day after day. And people will like your stuff. They'll share your stuff. They'll talk about your stuff. And Facebook will show your stuff to more people. And that will all happen organically without you having to ask for it.
Yeah.
So, put out good content and the rest it's build the field and they will come.
Nice.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, perfect. That's
my favorite movie.
There's shareable content right there, Terry. That's why. Because here's the deal. My mom likes everything that I post, but I'm pretty sure a retired copy editor doesn't care about Small Business Saturdays or the Two Rich Guys podcast. So anyhow.
There's always going to be a certain segment of people that will do that, and that's fine. But when the whole point I guess I'm trying to make is do something that's worth people paying attention, provide value, be what's the word that I want? Not unique. That's not the word. Be true to whoever your company is and who you are. And if you're genuine, that's the word I was looking for. If you're genuine, people are going to be attracted to that and they're going to follow you. And you don't have to do all the silly things to try to get people to like you.
All right. Well, no more dancing on your head then, Terry. People will like you for who you are.
Yes, no more sad puppy pictures.
Yeah. How about no more airplane wing pictures? Can we?
I do some airplane pictures.
Well, you go lots of places.
I do. To entertain myself.
Hey, Terry, I even said that I was going to try to be less of a jerk based on some of the auto responses that Skype had for me. Terry sent me a Skype earlier this morning, and it has a feature where it'll give you like 3 or 4 auto responses, and every single one of them was mean and snarky. I was like, oh, crap, it knows me well.
It's like they know you. It's crazy.
All right, Christine. So if someone knows any buzzwords about marketing, they know ROI, which is return on investment.
Right.
What they really want to know is social media marketing really worth paying for it? So let's talk about paid social media ads versus other methods of advertising in terms of cost, effectiveness, and what makes it different from the other marketing channels.
Okay. I think the first thing that you really need to look at is what social media can provide that maybe other channels can't. One of the things that print media has had a really hard time kind of catching up to is providing you with demographics and stats and things like that. Like if you do any kind of, which sometimes people will say to me, and we've looked at this too, well, let's do a banner ad on one of the magazine sites from the industry, or let's do something like that. And that can be a very good option depending on what you're looking for. But the problem is getting the stats that show you what you're actually getting. And, you know, a lot of magazines are giving out free copies now to inflate their subscriber numbers. And that's not always a great thing, because if somebody sends me something and says, do you want a free copy? I'm probably going to say yes. But am I ever going to read the free copy or look at the ads? Maybe not. So, you know, that's something that you need to kind of be aware of. Where social media has the advantage, I think, and it depends by platform a little bit, I should say that. I think Twitter's lagging behind a little bit, but Facebook and Pinterest have very nice analytics and very nice targeting methods. So what social media brings to the table with advertising is you can segment your audience very, very finely if you want to. If you happen to have a product that's only going to appeal to men in their 30s who like purple, then theoretically, you can segment your audience to just show that ad to men in their 30s who like purple. I don't know why I picked that example.
What about men in their 40s that like
men in their
purple?
40s who like purple,
Okay,
or
yes.
you know, women in their 40s who like purple, whatever. But so you can do a lot of segmentation, and you can target very specifically. You can target by geographic location, you can target by age, you can target by gender, you can target by interest. You can get your message in front of the people who are actually looking for what you want to show them, which is a little different than other methods of advertising that don't allow for that much segmentation. You may get a big audience, but only a small percentage of that audience might be interested in what you're offering. Whereas with social media, you can just target the percentage that wants whatever it is that you're advertising. Yeah. So that makes the difference. As far as cost, I have a very smart guy who works with me, who is the numbers guy. And so he does all of the numbers crunching and stuff for our ads, and he sets up Facebook and everything. He's done amazingly well at figuring out how to get the biggest bang for our money. And he's figured out targeting, he's figured out cost, he's figured out all that stuff. And we spend what I would say a relatively minuscule amount to advertise on Facebook, and the returns are huge for what we're spending. So, and by minuscule, I mean we maybe spend on a big month $500.
Wow.
Maybe, but we're targeting very specifically, and the results we've had have been really, really good. Pinterest does something a little different. You can promote your pins, but again, you can promote them to specifically targeted interest groups. So that works out really nicely. If you have a pin that's embroidery thread, for instance, you can target it to everybody that does machine embroidery. So you're spending money for every click, but you're only showing the ad to people who are most likely going to want what you have to offer. So
I think, first of all, that somebody must have an overstock on purple thread. I'm just going to throw that out there. That was a little backhanded advertising. But, so talk to us a little bit more, Christine, about how you go about targeting a market, and is part of that the content, because everyone says, it's all about content and not about selling. And so is targeting that market, do you taper your content to that market?
Well, I think you have to. But I think it all circles back to a bigger thing, which is one of the things that I tend to talk about every time I talk about social media. So sorry, guys, here we go again. But the first thing you have to do before you do anything with social media, advertising, setting up accounts, picking platforms, whatever you do, you have to know who you want to talk to. And who you want to talk to is more than, well, I want to sell to embroiderers or I want to sell to screen printers. Who are these people? What are they doing? One of the things that I talked about in my last seminar that I did was what's called a buyer persona. And a buyer persona is basically when you make up a dossier, essentially, for a potential customer, and you figure out things like where they go online, where they might shop, what their income is, what geographic locations they might live in, all that kind of stuff. And what you're trying to do is build a picture of someone so then you can target specifically the advertising that you do. It's a lot more work, I'll admit it. It's much easier to just say, I want to sell to everybody. But it doesn't necessarily get you, selling to everybody isn't going to get you the same return. If you target it, if you're specific, if you know who you're looking for, then you can really do ads that are very specific and targeted for those people and that address their likes and dislikes, their problems, which is a big thing. If you can fix a problem for somebody, you can usually make a sale, but you don't know what their problems are if you haven't given any thought to it ahead of time. Yeah. So that's really, I think the first thing you need to do is figure out who it is that you want to target. And then once you know that, you can yes, everybody is not a target. Well, everybody is not a target. That's exactly right, Eric. I was going to say something and then I thought better of it. But anyway, sometimes the sensor in my head does kick in ahead of time.
Okay.
But
wonder what that's like.
well, it doesn't happen as often as I'd like it to, but in this particular case, it did.
Awesome.
So
So, Christine, I love the idea of the persona, that dossier that you mentioned. In fact, I'd like to even give them a name. So
Yeah.
that way, because we associate people with certain kinds of things, and they don't have a filter and they talk a lot. I call them Terry. Those kinds of things.
If they're always getting on planes and flying away.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
But
right.
Tweeting about it.
And tweeting about it.
Christine, I think the easy out for a lot of people is to say, well, my customer is everybody, because they don't want to sit down and figure it out. Well,
Exactly.
you know what? There's hard work on the front end, but putting in that effort on the front end is going to make your life so much easier from then on out.
Well, the thing about it is once you know who you're looking for and you know who you want to sell to, it makes it so much easier when you start doing advertising on social media because you've already got most of the information that you need to set your targeting. I mean, and you can really, on Facebook, we can set it down to, we can target a specific area in a city if we want to. I mean, you can get that focused on it. And if you're aiming for everybody, then you're going to hit a lot of people that aren't interested in what you have when you advertise. If you narrow it down and you know who your buyer personas are, if you're looking for, Susie Sews a Lot, I like that name. So it made me laugh a little. But if you're looking for Susie and or you have a pretty good idea of who she is and where she goes, then you can target your ads to those places. And one of the biggest wastes of time and money on social media is people not knowing their audience. And they're on a platform that their audience isn't on, or they're advertising in places their audience doesn't go. And, you might as well just stand outside and hold up dollar bills and let them blow away.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a huge point. People don't realize that everybody they get in front of that aren't interested in what you're offering, that just costs you money that you didn't need to spend. And
exactly.
One of the things I like to say is, I think you should spend more time figuring out who you don't want to see your message than who you do at times. Kind of that, the people to leave out. I don't need to have an ad going to my mom. If I need to pay to get her to follow me, then I've got bigger problems than.
Well, that's very right, Aaron. I think sometimes figuring out who you don't want to talk to or who isn't a desirable customer for you is as valuable as figuring out who is. Because, there are some categories of customer, and this is not something that a lot of people will say, but I think it's true. There are some categories of customer that just don't pay to have in your business, and you don't really want to bring them in the door. So if you can figure out who those people are and avoid that, you've saved yourself a heck of a lot of time and heartache, basically.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really about knowing both sides of the coin. Who do you want to talk to, and who do you really not want to talk to, or who isn't going to be worth your time to talk to? And that's, again, circles back to the calculating thing from a couple weeks ago, but that it's business. So you got to be a little calculating.
Absolutely. So. That's a good point. All right, Christine, I'm going to bring a question from Eric in here that I think is a good one. He asks, how do you define a target audience? What questions should you ask yourself about that potential audience?
Ooh, that is a good question. Okay, so do we have about 50 minutes?
And you got to do it in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, short version of that question really leads back a lot to the buyer persona, which is you're basically creating a snapshot of who your ultimate desirable customer would be. And I mean, you have to be realistic, because I think sometimes businesses think their ultimate desirable customer would be someone who wanted to pay $1 million for one shirt and didn't care what was on it. And that's not really realistic. So you need to be realistic about who your desirable customers are. But I think you need to also look at, and this is another thing that people sometimes forget, what is it that you want to do and what is it that you're good at doing? Because ultimately your most desirable customers are the people that meet at the intersection of they want what you have and you can do what they want. So if you can find that intersection and make it work for you, then you're probably going to be really successful. But in terms of, it's really hard to give a list of what makes a desirable customer, because I think that's going to change based on your business. The people that are desirable customers for Enmart might not be the people that would be desirable customers for Equipment Zone. They probably wouldn't, because we sell very different things. So you have to be aware of what you have to offer and kind of craft your customer personas based on that. We sell, Enmart, for instance, sells embroidery supplies and sublimation supplies. So our desirable customers are people that run machine embroidery businesses and people that run sublimation businesses. And we tend to focus more on businesses than people who are hobbyists. Doesn't mean we don't have hobbyists who buy from us, but we're not specifically really trying to find those people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that I answered Eric's question, but I'm not sure.
No, I think you really did. I think there's some, I like the part about the fact that you got to know who that is. And, the one thing I always look at is the people out there, if you talked about what you do and what is best for your company, so if you're somebody that's a screen printer that specializes in, and Terry, I'm going to steal your guy, like the Jim's Towing, the one color, a white on a green shirt kind of thing, and that's what you really do, and you're really profitable at that, and you're good at that, you should own that and stick with that instead of now, filling up your social media field with all of these high-end multimedia, multicolor stuff. And you've
because
only
you want to show off.
Yeah.
But
yes,
but you don't want that customer.
If it's going to be profitable for you, then great. But if it's not going to be profitable for you, then own your segment, I think is a really good point. That and like you said, with yours, you're not out there showing people direct-to-garment stuff or talking too much about direct-to-garment.
No, not really, because it's not anything that we deal with.
Yeah.
So, but I think the real thing, and it's what you guys were just talking about too, is you have to be genuine and you have to be true to who you are. And a lot of companies, I mean, I know people who do a particular thing, a particular discipline, and I'll say, well, do you like doing it? Well, not really. Well, and why are you? Well, it makes us money. Yeah, but you don't, and you can kind of tell by how they're doing the work and the work that they're turning out, that it's not, something that just really excites them.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't always have to be. I mean, I think follow your passion is nice advice, but it isn't always realistic advice.
Sure.
But, you should have some level of interest and enjoyment from what you're doing, you would hope.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think you got to figure out a way to make the stuff that, is, like I said, doesn't have to be this passion, follow your passion. Like I said, is not always the exact right advice, but you shouldn't hate doing what you do every day either. So,
like the untucked shirt guy, in his commercial, the untucked shirt guy, the shirt you can wear because his passion was to create a shirt that you could wear untucked. We think, really, that's your passion? That's the thing that you
kind of, that's a little bit like, okay. But I think it also, the other half of this too, is if you don't really believe in what you're doing, if you're not really passionate about it, it's also going to show up in your social media feeds. Yep. I mean, say what you will about Enmart's feed, and there are some days when I go, okay, but we care about what we're doing, and we care about our customers, and we care about our company, and I hope that shows. And I think people need to see that evidence that you give a crap, basically.
Well, it's so much easier to have those interactions when what you're talking about matters to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's really important to just be aware of that and, show your real, genuine self. That's an important thing. And I think a lot of people try to be someone they think they should be when or they think that they shouldn't show any personality at all because it's a business. And I think showing your personality is one of the things that makes people trust your business and want to do business with you.
Exactly.
So.
And that's why you shouldn't have the intern do your social media, because they're not going to be there long enough to continue that personality.
Well, the whole theory that people, younger people, because they've grown up with social media, they're better equipped to do social media than someone who is a little bit older. I don't think that's true. There are young people who don't do social media well. It's a lot of it is understanding how it works and how to make it work for you. And that's not an age thing. That's just an understanding thing.
Yeah, the marketing thing. All right, Christine. Well, I want to kind of wrap up what we're talking about today to kind of go back to the paid segment a little bit. In reading through all the comments that I've left out here, we definitely have a whole nother show that we can do. So keep that camera setting the way you need it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to.
But let me ask this. People will hesitate to make that first jump into paid social media. It can be a scary thing. So what does someone need to know before they start advertising on social media?
Well, the first thing, like we talked about earlier, you need to know who you're trying to reach, because that's the first thing. You can't set up any targeting. You can't do anything demographic wise until you know who you're trying to talk to. And the second thing, and this sounds silly, but it's a part that a lot of people neglect. What do you want to get out of it? What are you hoping to do? Do you want to give away samples? Do you want to get new business? Do you want to get more engagement on your page? There could be any number of reasons that you're advertising, but you have to know what it is that you want to do, because that's going to dictate how you craft the ad that you put together, and it may dictate who you put the ad in front of. And then after that, your budget. How much do you want to spend? And also, it helps if you've done enough research that you have some realistic idea of what you can expect to get, because some people want to spend $5 and get 40,000 new customers. And I don't know of any advertising plan in the world that will do that. But if somebody knows of one, please tell me about it.
And if they're selling you that for more than $5, walk away.
Yeah. And I think the other thing you need to remember is that it's not hard to advertise on social media. It takes some thought, but it's not tough to do.
Yeah.
It's really pretty easy. And there's a lot of information out there to help you craft the best plan that you can craft. Or if you're like me and you're lucky, you have a really smart guy who can do it for you. But he figures out the numbers part. Yes, he's the data guy, and God love him.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well, good stuff here, Christine. Got to comment. Lots of food for thought here, and
Yeah.
100% agree. In fact, if you're catching the podcast version of this, you definitely got to go over to the Facebook live feed and look at all the comments. In fact, I encourage everybody to continue the conversation over at Facebook. Like I said, there was a ton of questions and comments and things that we couldn't even get to today, but again, thank you so much for being here and working to get on board with us. And I am so looking forward to having you on again next time. Christine, before we let you go, tell people where they can find you and where you want people to come find you on social media.
Facebook page is where I lurk most often. Facebook.com/NMART page.
Okay.
They can also find us on the blogs, Threaducate and Sublist Stuff. And I'm also having a blog challenge this month where I'm writing a new post every day for one of the blogs, which is pretty much killing me. But it's
well,
been,
luckily we're towards the end of the month. Oh no, you've got
yeah. But Threaducate and Sublist Stuff, I'm there a lot too, and occasionally on Twitter, which is twitter.com/nmartian, or pinterest.com/nmartian.
All right.
So
well, you can find you
that's
almost
a lot
everywhere.
of places.
Well, that's what keeps you so busy. So
Yeah, and I'm definitely up for doing another one, and I promise that the camera will work next time.
Oh, you're awesome, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that was a great show today, Aaron. Once we got going.
Yeah, no, it was really good information. And, as usual, we got a ton of great stuff in the comments section. And like I said, go back and check that stuff out. And I bet you we could take the comments section there and make at least one or two more shows out of that. So we're going to do that.
Have Christine back for sure, and I think people are hungry for this kind of information. I know I'm supposed to be in social media. How do I do it? So, let's definitely go back and address that. And Aaron, but before we go any further, though, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Equipment Zone. Our show today is sponsored by Equipment Zone. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000 direct-to-garment printer. Equipment Zone is the only Epson reseller who sends a technician to every customer location for training. This is an absolutely free visit to your location. Equipment Zone is also the manufacturer of the #1 pre-treat machine in the industry, the SpeedTreater TX. With no compressor and no special tanks, the SpeedTreater TX is the easiest and most consistent pre-treat machine available worldwide. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000, the SpeedTreater TX, and for all your DTG inks and supplies. That's equipmentzone.com. That's equipmentzone.com. All right. Well, we'd like to thank Equipment Zone again for their long support of the show. And Aaron, yes, it does say F2000, and Equipment Zone is selling the F2100, but there is a reason that I hesitated on doing a new commercial, because we were waiting for Epson to allow us to announce that Equipment Zone is now a certified solution center. And Aaron, I don't know if you've seen the pictures yet, but it's fabulous new showroom, and picking up a smart car to have wrapped in the lobby here this week. And so anybody that's in the New York City area, would love to have you come over and take a look at the new certified solution center for Epson. And also, Aaron, I mentioned last week that I was going to announce dates for the Epson DTG Academy that's produced by Equipment Zone. And the next one is going to be here in Phoenix at our facility down in Tempe, which is by the Arizona State campus. That's going to be September 21st to 22nd. And then back in New Jersey for at the Solution Center. And that will be October 5th and 6th. And all that information will be up on the the Equipment Zone website here in the next few days. Those dates were just confirmed yesterday. So, that's going to be a really great event. As I've mentioned before, Dane Clement from Great Dane Graphics is one of the speakers. Jay Bassell, if you've ever seen Jay Bassell speak about business and marketing and selling your products, you'll know it's a tremendous presentation as well. So those guys keep me on my toes when I'm doing my part of the presentation.
Very nice. All right. Well, sounds like good, clean fun happening out there in Equipment Zone world. But
Yeah, Christine said that she lurks on Facebook. You told me I'm not allowed to say I lurk on any of the social media.
it's a little different when Christine says it, Terry. We won't get into that. We don't have time, and it's probably not appropriate for this content here. But all right, Terry. Well, let's. We got 5 things to get to here still, and we're already into bonus time. Again, thanks everybody for all of the comments and questions. Had a couple people say, "Oh, I tuned in late. Will this be available later?" And absolutely, it will. You can find it there on our Facebook page. It'll be linked into our show notes at tworegularguys.com, and you can also download the podcast version anytime you want. Just head to your favorite podcast player and look up Two Regular Guys, and certainly give us a review there as well. That helps let people know what we're all about and continue to grow our industry here. But,
that listener tuned in late. We started late, so hey, we're all on the same page. Aaron, what do you have going on outside of Two Regular Guys?
Yeah, and I'm not cheating on you, Terry. It's okay. There's still a lot of love here, but so every Saturday morning, I've been doing my Small Business Saturdays video series. It's just a 15 to 20-minute session, just talking about totally all sorts of different topics, from marketing planning to business plans to how to find your why. And this Saturday, tomorrow morning, I will be talking about some of the changes happening over at Google and their algorithm changes when it comes to your mobile website and how that affects your overall search ranking, and some just quick things that you can do to avoid the wrath of Google changes. So I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. If you just go to my website at aaronmontgomery.info/SBS video, you should be able to find it all there, or go over to facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info and you will find it there live. Tune in, questions, comments, just like we do here on the Two Regular Guys. All good, fun stuff. So what about you, Terry?
Aaron, I have my next complete screen printing business course here in Phoenix at Workhorse Products. That's going to be it's around the corner, July 21st to 22nd. That class is filling up. So if you want to come to an intro screen printing class, that's a good opportunity for you. August 1st, I'll be doing the Epson DTG day-long seminar in Long Beach at the MBM show. August 2nd through 4th, I'll be exhibiting there at that same show in Long Beach, California. My complete screen printing business course in Chicago will be at Atlas Screen Supply August 18th and 19th. August 23rd, it looks like I'm going to be doing a lot of tweeting from airports again. August 23rd, I'm going to be at Secaucus, Meadowlands, New Jersey, outside of New York City for the day-long Epson seminar. And of course, I'll be with Equipment Zone exhibiting at the MBM show there the 24th and 25th of August. And then September 8th, I'm going to be down in Orlando on Saturday. September 8th, I'll be doing a introduction to direct-to-garment printing seminar at 10:30 there in Orlando for the ISS show. And you can find out all my events are at terrycombs.com under tour dates. And Aaron, I just want to share with you that I have updated that all the way through the end of 2018. So look at that.
Look at you. Good job, Terry. All right.
You didn't even have to prod me. Send me a message saying, hey, all your information from last year is on your website.
I know. You're getting so good at this. I'm so proud. All right. Marshall said, by the way, if you can't get enough of Aaron and Terry, and who can't, Big Idea podcast we talked about earlier is out. So again, the link, lots of two regular dash. So good stuff there. Awesome. Let's see here. Any other? Did you make? Oh, here we go. Terry, did you make a shirt yet?
Oh, with my tour dates? Not yet. Not yet. Where would I do such a thing? I was actually in the office yesterday. I should have done that.
All right. Well,
I was too busy working.
We're going to have to figure out how to make this an accountability partnership too. So everybody make sure that it's Terry Combs AZ on Twitter. You can find him on Facebook. Basically bug him day in and day out to make the tour date shirt. So there you go.
Sold. Okay. I'll do it.
All right, Terry. Well, let's see here. I want to make sure that I get this right. It is now time for 5 things.
Nice. All right, my 5 things. 5 things to produce and sell successfully in the DTG arena. Number 1, use the right shirt. 100% ring spun cotton is your best substrate to print on. Number 2, the proper art. You need 300 DPI saved at full printing size with a transparent background. Number 3, pre-treating. Most operators and resellers use way too much pre-treat. Number 4, heat press, light, and I emphasize light pressure, and commonly at 330 to 340 degrees Fahrenheit. And number 5, sell at a premium. $20 is the going rate across the country. If you are one of those people who walks up to me and says, in my town, I can only get $5 for a shirt, turn around and walk away because you're wrong.
There you go.
5 things.
Awesome. All right. Well, good stuff, Terry. Thank you for bringing those awesome 5 things. I was totally off base at the start of the show with what it was going to be about. So pleasantly surprised. Good stuff. So real quick, Terry, I need to go back and just catch a couple of other things here. Let's see here. Andrea says she wears an extra small. So when you're printing your Terry Combs Tour Date shirt, you know what sizes to use.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah. And then Eric says we need to get some designs from the Two Regular Guys fans. So yes, please send all of your designs.
That's a great idea.
Any ideas you'd like to have. I'll sublimate some stuff too. So it's info@2regularguys. Just email that over. And then I have to get this poke in from Alan. Terry, if you can see that there, he says go ahead and screen print the shirt and use the round edge of the scoop coater.
Yeah, well, I don't need to put any Band-Aids on how I coat my screens by using the round side, so I will continue using the proper sharp edge of the squeegee blade.
Nice. And then I thought this was good for Marshall. Remember at ThreadX, if those of you that were there, it was a fantastic event, and they're already got information about next year's ThreadX up. It's going to be in San Diego, California. I think that's another Two Regular Guys road trip, Terry.
I think so. I'm sure Marshall will be up for it. I think he'll be up for it, and probably Eric as well.
Now, Marshall, cookies will be required again, though. So just giving you the heads up. But he said, remember, Tim Williams talked about selling DTG shirts for $150. So
right.
$20 is the minimum. Sell for as much as you can.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Terry, we've come to the closing of the show. Thank you very much to Christine for joining us and jumping through the hoops to get here and still make it a fantastic show. So, and thanks for everybody joining us and commenting and sharing and being a part of this really fun experience today. Terry, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
I thought you were doing the rap.
Awkward pause there. So
thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Aaron. My page closed up on me here, but we do want to thank our sponsors, is Equipment Zone and SGIA. We certainly appreciate that, and our show producer, Eric Campbell, Rich Campbell, and you can find him at ericcampbell.com and over at Deco Network.
Outstanding. Yes, definitely. Good stuff from all them. Thanks to Equipment Zone, SGIA, and Eric. Definitely ericcampbell.com is where you find him at. And Eric has actually got us a great show coming next week. We've got Eric Mickelson with a background in family embroidery business and kind of bringing that into the new age here. So the show is going to be company renewals and how to make it grow. My dog is very excited for that. So,
all right, looking forward to that show as well. Sorry for my pregnant pause there at the end. As I said, my page closed up on me. It's Friday the 13th, everybody. But until next week, he is Aaron Montgomery. I'm Terry Combs, and we are
the Two Regular Guys.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.